This may come as a surprise, but we're not actually going to try and define in this video what 2001 is actually about. Instead, what I wish to demonstrate is that the surface plot of the film, which Kubrick described as the simplest level, is in fact an artificial narrative, a cover story deliberately designed to crumble into ludicrous fragments upon close examination. The complex, deeper meanings of the film constitute a completely different narrative that has nothing to do with alien intelligences contacting Earth, and very little to do with the novel. It's a complex variation of those cleverly designed optical illusions that start off as looking like one thing and then transform upon examination into something entirely different. A delayed recognition of an encoded pattern which is the opposite of pareidolia. Kubrick was certainly interested in these kinds of visual metaphors because many of the poster design sketches at the Kubrick archives in London feature optical illusion designs. Now your first question about my double narrative thesis will likely be, what do you mean 2001's not about alien intelligence? Okay, to address that issue, let's start by exploring the council meeting scene. Here, Dr. Heywood Floyd gives a cryptically vague series of statements about an unspecified discovery.
First of all, I bring a personal message from Dr. Howell, who has asked me to convey his deepest appreciation to all of you for the many sacrifices you've had to make. And, of course, his congratulations on your discovery, which may well prove to be among the most significant in the history of science.
The quick and easy assumption is that he is referring to a rectangular object similar to the one we saw with the apes. At the end of the film, Floyd describes this discovery to Bowman, who, in an interesting word parallel, is watching aboard a spacecraft called the Discovery. Floyd talks of the 4-million-year-old monolith, but he doesn't show any footage of it. Again, we're allowed to assume he means the black rectangular object in the excavation pit. At no point in the entire film does Floyd or any other character use the word alien or extraterrestrial. The closest that any character gets to verbalizing the discovery of alien intelligence is Dr. Smyslov's description of a rumor regarding something of an unknown origin.
Quite frankly, we have had some very reliable intelligence reports that quite a serious epidemic has broken out at Kubricks. Something apparently of an unknown origin.
And the only other example is Floyd's pre-recorded debriefing.
18 months ago, the first evidence of intelligent life off the Earth was discovered.
What an interesting choice of vague words. The film itself has already shown us intelligent life off the Earth in the form of humans orbiting Earth. If we take away the film's visual presentation of a black rectangular slab, there's nothing left in dialogue or visuals to confirm a plot device of contact with an alien race, despite screen tests having been done of alien creatures. The whole movie could easily be interpreted religiously, and the ending could be taken as a dream sequence.
Dr. Poole, what's it like while you're in hibernation?
Well, it's exactly like being asleep. You have absolutely no sense of time. The only difference is that you don't dream.
In the council meeting, Floyd goes on to talk of an unspecified cover story.
Now, I know there have been some conflicting views held by some of you regarding the need for complete security in this matter. More specifically, your opposition to the cover story. Created to give the impression there's an epidemic at the base.
The quick and easy assumption that we're allowed to make here is that the cover story refers to the communication failure reports already described by Dr. Smyslov.
Well, for one thing, whenever you phone the base, all you can get is a recording which repeats that the phone lines are temporarily out of order.
Well, probably having some trouble with their equipment or something like that.
Yes. Yes, that's what we thought was the explanation at first, but it's been going on now for the past 10 days.
You mean you haven't been able to contact anyone for the past 10 days?
That's right.
And this brings us to a series of details at which point the narrative makes a genuine shift. Rather than rebut Smyslov's question about the discovery of something of an unknown origin, Floyd adds fuel to the rumour by going deadpan and refusing to discuss it.
Quite frankly, we have had some very reliable intelligence reports that quite a serious epidemic has broken out at Kubricks. Something apparently of an unknown origin. This is in fact what has happened.
I'm sorry, Dr. Smithlow, but I'm really not at liberty to discuss this.
I understand. But this epidemic could quite easily spread to our base. We should be given all the facts, Dr. Floyd.
Yes, I know. As I said, I'm not at liberty to discuss it.
Surely if Floyd wishes to maintain what he calls absolute secrecy of their discovery, then he should have laughed off Smyslov's inquiry as preposterous. His reaction may as well be an announced confirmation. This underhanded promotion of the very rumour that he is supposed to be keeping under wraps gets even worse in the moonbus scene. Within earshot of two pilots, Floyd and his colleagues speak aloud about their discovery of something that was buried 4 million years ago. They're not even bothering to whisper.
We thought it might be the upper part of some buried structure, so we excavated out on all sides, but unfortunately we didn't find anything else.
And what's more, the evidence seems pretty conclusive that it hasn't been covered up by natural erosion or other forces. It seems to have been deliberately buried.
Deliberately buried. I don't suppose you have any idea what the damn thing is, huh?
Wish the hell we did. No, the only thing we're sure of is it was buried 4 million years ago.
Well, I must say, you guys have certainly come up with something.
It's like they want the pilots to hear. The artificial basis of their conversation is slyly communicated in their eating of synthetic meat.
What's that, chicken?
Something like that. Tastes the same anyway.
Got any ham?
Ham.
Oh, yeah, there. Good.
They look pretty good.
Well, they're getting better at it all the time.
Halverson then throws in a private joke relating the artificial meat of their sandwiches to the artificiality of Floyd's council speech.
You know, that was an excellent speech you gave us, Haywood.
It certainly was.
I'm sure it beefed up morale a hell of a lot.
Thanks, Ralph.
In the council meeting, Floyd also talked about possible social unrest and the need for mass psychological conditioning.
Now, I'm sure you're all aware of the extremely grave potential for cultural shock and social disorientation contained in this present situation, if the facts were prematurely and suddenly made public without adequate preparation and conditioning.
Basically, he's talking about propaganda, but we're left to wonder in what form this mass conditioning will take place. Could it consist of intentionally promoted rumours about an alien artifact that are then officially denied? This would certainly fit with the not-so-secretive behaviour of Floyd and his colleagues. Notice also Floyd's hesitance in using the word news.
The purpose of my visit here is to gather additional facts and opinions on the situation, and to prepare a report to the Council, recommending when and how the news should eventually be announced.
Does he mean news or propaganda? The whole council meeting has a staged feel to it. Floyd tells the group that he sympathises with their so-called negative views.
Well, I completely sympathize with your negative views.
And their opposition to the cover story. Yet when he asks if there are any questions, the only person who responds is a colleague who he was already talking to at the start of the meeting.
Any questions?
Dr. Floyd, have you any idea how much longer this cover story will have to be maintained?
I don't know, Bill. I suppose it'll be maintained as long as deemed necessary by the Council.
This guy knows the answer to his own question, but he's asking it to give the illusion of a genuine debate. Incidentally, pay attention to their hand gestures at the start of the scene. Considering their apparent opposition to the cover story, the rest of the group should be throwing questions at Floyd. But they're completely silent. In fact, there's hardly any reaction from them throughout the whole speech, apart from a round of applause and a suspicious knowing glance between Floyd's closest colleagues.
And, of course, his congratulations on your discovery.
Kubrick doesn't offer a single close-up of anyone else in the room. Considering the emotional importance of what Floyd is supposed to be talking about, contact with alien intelligence, we should be seeing at least one or two reaction shots, but there are none. On the purely visual level, the council meeting is a bizarre design of 4 giant walls of light. If we look closely behind the gently waving flags, we can see that each of these white walls is flanked by thick black curtains. The reason for this is that the council meeting room is basically a 4-walled cinema. It can be used as a 360-degree image display system, or individual walls can be blacked out by curtains to create a 1, 2 or 3-walled cinema. Note the matching exit doors at the far end. In Floyd's pre-recorded announcement to Bowman, we get to see one of these cinema display screens in use. The chair and desk at which he is sitting are the ones of the council room, and a planetary image is being projected behind him. The council room is a surround screen cinema. Now this combined cinema boardroom is supposed to be inside the Clavius base on the moon's surface. We assume this because the scene occurs after a long space travel sequence between the rotating artificial gravity station and the moon base itself. During this flight sequence we see astronauts slowly walking the moon's surface as a visual depiction of the moon's low gravity. And in the TMA-1 excavation pit, slow movement is used again to give the illusion of low gravitational pull. We find a great deal of attention to gravity throughout the whole film. Characters hobble about like apes swinging in trees and creeping slowly on specially designed grip shoes. And there's the enormous technical and financial effort made on set to create a rotating artificial gravity ring inside the Discovery spaceship. Gravity was a very important special effects consideration throughout the whole production, but in the council meeting the supposed 1/6 gravity of the moon's surface is completely disregarded. At the very least, actors could have been told to move about slowly, but we get the opposite. The photographer virtually runs around the table as if to exaggerate that the room exists under a gravitational pull identical to Earth's. These gravity discrepancies could have been avoided simply by having characters not walk around. Floyd could have given his speech by just standing up where he was. The gravity discrepancy could also have been avoided by having the meeting occur before Floyd's travel to Clavius. But as it stands, the council meeting is not on the moon. Confused? Take a good look at the moon landing flight sequence. Floyd and the pilots watch the external space and moon surface terrain through rectangular windows. They're on a flight to Clavius, right? Not quite. And here's a giveaway. A hostess is watching a film of martial arts training on a TV screen that is embedded in a supposed window. These aren't windows, they're symbolic viewing screens, just like the screen we saw during Floyd's Pan Am flight to the rotating station. The space trips are in-flight movies, watched or dreamt of by Floyd. Howard Johnson's Earthlight room on the artificial gravity station is more than likely the council room, with the whole flight sequence to Clavius simply being screened at the council meeting. Note the large block of light wall design. This is where Floyd was headed just before he decided to call his daughter. And stills from the Kubrick archives show the supposedly moon-based astronauts walking about in their spacesuits in the same space station as Howard Johnson's Earthlight room, implying the excavation pit encounter with the monolith was a council meeting movie as well. Large chunks of the, if you'll pardon the pun, surface narrative about discovering an alien artifact on the moon are now losing plausibility, leaving us to wonder what exactly is being discussed in the verbally obscure council meeting. Are they trying to suppress rumours of a discovery of alien intelligence, or artificially promote them?